My name is Ambassador Tim Ford Jr., and I packed up everything I had 4 years ago and moved over from America all the way over to East Africa, Tanzania. And I help my people invest, rebuild, and return over here if that's their ultimate goal. But today, I want to talk to my younger brothers in their 20s who are thinking about starting their life journey and beginning to take things serious within their life. So let's get right to the point. First, brothers, we must stop over sexualizing things. We grew up in a society that makes us sexualize every woman that we come in contact with. Everything that we see, everything that we feel, it has to be something sexual. Unfortunately, we've been put into a place, we've been trained to just think about sex all the time and think that that's the main function of our women and our sisters. Like sometimes some of our sisters are really assets to be able to help us get to another level in our life, like not just sexually. Some of our sisters have certain insight, some of them have certain understanding to where if you treated that woman as a sister, if you really like developed a sister and brother relationship with her, you would actually do better than just trying to meet her and have sexual intercourse. So we must change our perspective and stop over sexualizing our sisters and think that every woman that we see, we have to have sex with them. We have to lay down with them because that's not what they are here for. They have more functions to us rather than just having sex with us. My next thing is we must stop watching porn. Literally, our overconsumption of porn is literally the reason why many of us have this over sexualized mindset. We shouldn't be watching porn at all, honestly. I know growing up, I'm a man too, so I had this point in my life where I would watch porn probably twice a day. Unfortunately, if not more sometimes, but it wasn't until I started seeing the world differently and I had people hold me accountable and really show me the truth of what porn was doing to my mind that I actually was able to break that stronghold of continuing to look at porn and think that I needed to please myself in that manner. One thing that really helped me to understand what porn was actually doing to my mind, shout out to the late great Pastor Stephen Darby, man. He said in a sermon one time, he was like, man, you are watching that porn and you're not just watching the woman. You are watching the man as well. You are looking at that and you are enjoying that too, unintentionally, but you are watching both of those things happen at the same time. So you are eternalizing that within your mind to think that that's okay. So it's messing up our minds and over sexualizing the way that we see things, and it's causing us to really not be able to grow into who we are supposed to be. Because another thing he said was lust is literally never satisfied. Once you go down that rabbit hole of watching porn, it changes. At some point, what you're watching, the normal things you watching, it don't work no more. At some point, you start wanting to see things differently. At first, you watching man and woman, then you watching two women, one man, then you watching orgies, then you watching anime. It goes deeper and deeper and deeper until you go to the place that you don't want to go. So you have to break the stronghold before you go too deep into porn and you mess yourself up mentally, guys. You have to break the stronghold of watching porn. It has no value in our life. It's literally one of the main industries that's tearing our families apart, that's ripping us apart as men. So it's very important that you get rid of porn out of your life. Just cut it off completely in order for you to grow and become the man that you know you need to become. And the next thing you need to do is perfect one craft and focus. You cannot afford to be all over the place. I know we have many gifts and we have many different talents, but we have to sit down and perfect the craft in order to actually generate something, in order to actually build something, in order to actually grow into someone. We can't afford to say 6 months here, I'm going to do this. 6 months there, I'm going to do that. 6 months here, I'm gonna do that. Each time you do that, you starting over from scratch. You're trying to learn something new. But if you spend some years inside of one particular field and become an expert at that, you have to make sure that you sacrifice that time and put that energy into perfecting one thing before you decide to go onto something else. You have to make sure you're climbing the right ladder. You're building on the right things. There's so many shiny objects, so many get rich quick schemes, so many things that are thrown our way that makes you feel like, man, I should have that. I can do that. So we tend to not go on the long haul of focusing on what we're supposed to be focusing on because we feel like we can jump into something else and this will make us something quicker. And then you slowly realize that, man, I should have just stayed where I was at and build where I was at, and I could have been a lot further right now. So, guys, brothers, please make sure you focus and perfect one craft before you decide to go off into a different direction. And that will also help you to break the porn addiction because porn is nothing but a distraction. If you come up with your purpose and you focus on one craft with that purpose, that gives you more ability to withstand and not feel like you need to go and watch porn and please yourself because you have a vision, you have a goal in mind, you have a work, a place that you are going. So you have to make sure that you create a focus on something, learn your purpose, figure out what you're supposed to be doing so that you can have the strength to withstand and not feel like you have to go and please yourself in other areas. That leads me to my next point. Make sure you get married, bro. Pick one woman and build something with her, man. The late great Pastor Darby, once again, I mentioned him again, man. I was at a sermon when I realized I needed to get married. He said in the sermon, he was like, man, listen, a lot of men out here, they have good women. They got good sisters on their side, but they scared to marry them because they so-called think they crazy. And he was like, you crazy too. If you grew up in that society, if you grew up in that environment, bro, you got some craziness within you. So find you one woman who got a little bit of sense, who understands what you're going through, who actually trying to build with you, and lock arms with her and build something with her, man. It pays off a lot more to just get you one woman and actually build something from scratch. We don't have time to keep messing with multiple women out here hoeing around and thinking we have to go and sleep with every woman that we meet in order to find our wife. Bro, that's not how it go. You find you somebody that has the good qualities to raise a family, that has the proper mindset, and you make that sacrifice and y'all build something together. See, I got married when I was 24 years old, man. 24. And in society's eyes, I wasn't ready. But in my heart, I knew that I was ready because at a young age, that was my ultimate goal anyway. I always knew that I wanted to have me a wife. I always knew that I wanted to make me a family. But when I was sitting in that sermon that day, I had gotten the world in me so much from heartbreak, from messing with too many women, from not being able to trust women, and from too much porn, and from looking at the things that I wasn't supposed to be looking at. I felt like I wasn't ready yet. But at the end of the day, we are ready when we have the mindset. When we are of age, we have to go ahead and make that sacrifice so that we can start building our families and doing the work that we need to do. So, guys, listen, make sure you get you one wife, one woman, and y'all build something together. That's a lot better than sleeping around and messing with multiple women and making broken homes and breaking hearts. And the worst thing is to create soul ties, man. The soul ties are real. The more women you sleep with, the more broken you feel inside as a man. Like you think you just going and having fun and nothing come from it, bro. Every time you lay down with another woman, bro, you are putting yourself in her. You are making the connection with her. So you're going to be thinking about that for the rest of your life. You're going to be thinking about these different women for the rest of your life until you break those strongholds, until you break away from what you've caused. But you don't want to put yourself in that situation if you do not have to, man. So make sure, please make the sacrifice and get you one woman and build something with her, because that's going to help you out a lot more than coming out here and playing around and just slanging it around all willy-nilly. I know they say that's what we supposed to do. Go have fun, go enjoy your youth, go find your wife that way. Bro, that's bad advice. Trust me, that's bad advice, man. Take the sacrifice and build something and create a family. I know we haven't seen it. I know we don't have many examples of it, but we feel something within us to have a deeper connection with one woman. So listen to that, yearn to that, and build something with one woman. Trust me. Now, the next thing is for you to get you a mentor or a coach or a pastor and sit under them so that they can hold you accountable, so that they can help you get to the place that you want to be in your life. We cannot do this alone. We do not. You have to make sure that you sit down under someone that can shine a light on what you're doing, that can hold you accountable to the things you say, to the way that you move, to the way that you operate, so that you can elevate, because we A lot of us, we don't have male figures in our lives that actually hold us accountable. They actually hold us accountable to do the wrong things. They are bad examples, and they're not really holding us to the standard that we need to be held to as young men in order to grow into wise men. So you have to seek and search for those men who you see and know, like, man, that brother, he got it going on. He's the one who I need to listen to. He's the one who I need to get close to in order to learn from and in order to be taught how I supposed to be moving in this time. There's a yearning within all of us as young men to find guidance, to have understanding, to really be with those who are actually trying to teach us something. So you got to go out there and search for mentors. You got to go out there and search for coaches and pastors that are holding themselves to that standard, who have the life that you want, who have the vision that you have in your mind for your life. They are living it. So you can go sit with them, sit under them, serve them so that they can teach you the principles and the game in order to get to where they at. That's one of the main things that helped me on my journey. When I started out my journey at 20 years old, I guess 2021, I was serving under a pastor who had a life that I really saw and wanted. I'm like, man, this brother got a wife. He got the house, he got the children, like he chilling, he doing it right, he's serving God, he's doing things properly. And I was gracious enough to be able to sit under him as his armor bearer, and I was able to learn so many different principles in a short amount of time that really helped me to be ready when I got 24 and I had the understanding and I heard the signs that it was time for me to get married, because I had already kind of prepared myself by sitting under a man of God who was already doing that. Now, because of the world and because of the way that I acted from 21 to 24, there were some things within me that was trying to pull me away from not stepping into my destiny of becoming a husband, of becoming a father, and stepping up into leadership, into the role that I knew that I need to assume in order for me to get to where I wanted to go in life. But by the grace of God, Pastor Darby's words and the way that he was blessed to be able to tailor his messages in the way that the Most High was able to use him, was able to get through all of that mess. And I was able to see at the young age of 24 that, it's time to get married. It's time for me to step up. And that's mainly because I was sitting under the right men of God, listening to the right people. Me sitting under Pastor Darby, sitting there taking in the information, willfully submitting to what the Most High is saying through these men, helped me to understand and see, like, okay, yeah, it's time, it's doable. There was some scariness in my mind when it came to getting married, but me talking to Pastor Darby and conversing with him led me to see, like, bro, it's time. Like, it's never a right time. You can't wait till you're 30. Imagine had I waited to now to get married. Things would have been a lot different. But me sitting down and me having the conversations about the scaredness and being held accountable to what the word says and how we supposed to move, that helped me to get to the mindset that, no, it's time. We got to do this. So it's very important that you get you mentors, coaches, or pastors to hold you accountable, to push you to where you want to go and get you closer to your destiny. And it leads me to my next point. Stay away from people who don't have what you want. Just because they got gray hair, just because they older, don't mean you have to listen to them and take their advice and go with what they tell you to do. So many times us in our youth, we think that, oh man, any man with gray hair, he must have wisdom. No, brother. That's not the case. Trust me. There's some old fools out there. Literal old fools, man. There's guys out there that's older than us that's playing games like they're 20, 50, 60 years old, still sleeping around and messing with different women, don't have roots, don't have a family set up. And in their nights, when they sleeping, when they alone, they feel that. They don't tell us, but they feel the guilt, the shame, and anger and frustration of being out here hoeing around in their youth. So you don't have to hoe around. We don't have to do that. Like, that's not in our destinies. We don't have to go out here and make multiple broken homes. We have to build something. We have to get roots. We have to actually create something with a family unit so that we can break these strongholds that's been put on us. And we can't do that without a family unit. That's the number one ministry. That's the number one way for God to elevate you in order to pull you to where you need to go. You have to create your family in order to do these things. You can't do it solo. You have to have a wife on your side and a child with you so that God can bless you all so that you can continue to move in your destiny and your purpose. So if men don't have that fruit, if they don't have that in their life, don't listen to them. Straight up. You don't have to take their advice. You don't have to think that, oh man, He got the money, so let me see what he's saying, bro. The fruit is in the family. The fruit is in how he's treating his wife, how he's moving with his family, how his children look at him, how they play with him, how they respect him. All of that is the things that we need to look at as men to see, is this someone that I want to emulate my life after? Because even the devil had a lot of money. He tempted Christ with the whole world with a lot of money. So we don't have to think that money is the object, and that's the main focus that we need to see when we trying to find mentors and people that we want to listen to and emulate our lives over. Money is important. Yes, don't get me wrong. You want them to be wealthy. You want them to have good financial understanding and do handle their money properly. But being wealthy and being super rich, that shouldn't be the ultimate goal. We all want wealth. We all want to be rich. But listen to what I'm saying. Don't let that be the main focus of why you're actually listening to someone and trying to get advice from them. All right, the next point is this. Don't be afraid to leave people where they are. If they're not growing, if they're not going with you on your level of growing, bro, cut them off and let them go. Listen, I left my hometown of Memphis, Tennessee at 23 years old. At 23 years old, 23 years old, I packed up my car and I drove 3 hours away from my hometown. And I went and slept on my grandmother's couch so that I could build my life the way that God was leading me. In the time that I was in Memphis, Tennessee, I was around so many people that wasn't trying to do what I was trying to do with my life. I'm gonna just keep it real. I got love for my family. I got love for my people. I still respect them and I still appreciate them for what they did on my journey. But at the end of the day, I was around a bunch of people that didn't see the life trajectory in the way that I saw it. They couldn't help me to get to where I was going, and they was unintentionally pulling me down. I'm trying to go build. I'm trying to go work, and we just trying to smoke. We just trying to kick it. We just trying to chill. So that's something that I had to really break myself away from in order for me to get to where God wanted me to go. So sometimes it may not have to be 3 hours away from everybody so that you can get your peace and get yourself to a place where God can use you. Sometimes it may be an hour. Sometimes it may be the next town. Sometimes it may be another neighborhood. But you must remove yourself away from those people who are not growing with you and who are not elevating with you, because they will pull you down. Not saying it's intentional. Make sure you understand me. Some people you will feel like, dang, bro, I know you're supposed to go with me. Like, I know we're supposed to build together. I feel it in my heart, but that's your heart. That's your heart. God not saying that. If they not growing with you, if it's not an easy transition, if it's not an easy process of y'all working together, cut them off, because they will hold you back. It's not intentional sometimes. Make sure you hear me and understand. You're going to feel bad. It's going to suck for you to have to let go of your close friends that you've been dealing with for the past 10 years. Y'all grew up with playing small sports together. Y'all did all the good things together, but you're going to have to move on in order for God to use you. When I left my hometown at 23, by 24, I was married. By 24, I had stepped up to the plate and was getting married. And my friends was like, Nick, what? What you doing? This was not you 2 years ago. And it wasn't. But God had did such a quick work in some of the things that needed to be done in my life so that I could step into who I needed to be this entire time. And who knows, if I would have left early, I probably would have been married earlier. But leaving the comfort zone of your hometown, of your home area, it does something to you, because it forces you to only focus on God. It forces you to only step into who you need to be so that you can grow to where you need to go. So don't be afraid to leave people where they are if they're not going with you. And some people may be intentional. You know, those who are trying to pull you down. We all get haters that's around us. We all get people that's trying to stop us from elevating on our journey. So don't be afraid to let people go, cut people off, go to another city, go to another town, go to a whole nother country. I left Memphis at 24, and now at 31, I'm over here all the way in Africa. I left Nashville at 26 and was able to come all the way over here to the continent of Africa. So it's just small baby steps in order to get you where you need to go. If I wouldn't have left Memphis at 23, it would have been difficult for me to leave Memphis and go to Africa at 26. You get what I'm saying? At 23, it was very, very difficult for me to go from Memphis to Nashville. But guys, it was a lot easier for me to go from Nashville all the way to Africa because I had done it before. But this time I had a wife with me and I had my son. So I had more with me in order for me to make this jump and transition. It was a lot easier from when I left by myself at 23. So when you do things and you let things go and you take those leaps of faith and move when the Most High tell you to do and let things go and let people go, things will work and open up for you in ways that you can't even imagine. Since we're here, got to show y'all some of the products real quick. This I'm not your body ready. I'm not your body. Yeah, natural product. Natural body. Yeah. Natural body. Yeah. Say. Yeah. Come closer. Come. Busy Beachy. That leads me to my next point. You have to be bold and take some risk out here. You have to be bold and take some risk. And you do not need a crew to go with you in order for you to take that risk and go into that direction God is pointing you in. You got to be bold and step out on faith by yourself so that you can move to the place that you need to move to, so that you can grow to the person that you need to grow to. You got to be bold. All of this takes boldness. All of these are risk. So be okay with taking risk for your life, for your family, for the future family that you're setting up as a father, as a leader, as a husband. You have to take those risks so that you can grow to the person that you need to, man. We all think that we got to bring our crew with us, bring our people with us. But if our people not building, if our people don't have the right mindset, you got to be okay with letting them go. Yeah, it hurt. Yeah, it sucks. But you got to be bold and take that risk and go alone. Go solo dolo. Focus and do something by yourself so that when your people do come, you can actually take care of them and put them in a good position. So you got to be okay with being bold and taking risk and going alone, looking crazy. People not going to understand why you doing what you're doing, but that's okay. It's not for them to understand. God called you. He called you, and it wasn't a conference call when he called you. He didn't put all your people on the phone. He called you directly by yourself in that solitude by yourself. Why are you watching this video? He's talking to you and letting you know, be bold by yourself. Take the risk by yourself. You can't bring everybody with you. That's not how it go. Be bold and take the risk with all these different steps and ideas and points that I've given you guys. You have to take these risks and do it boldly by yourself. And my last point is this: stop smoking so much weed. The weed has to stop. You gotta clear your mind. You gotta focus. We pacify our emotions and we pacify the things we went through with the weed that we smoke. So if you are able to stop smoking that weed and actually focus and get your mind clear on your goals, get your mind clear on your visions, you can actually do something for yourself and with yourself. We can't pacify everything with weed for the rest of our lives. That's what a lot of men are doing. A lot of them are not facing their fears, facing their doubts, facing the things that they've made mistakes about, because every time they feel something, they just smoke it down. No, sit in that, feel that, and overcome that so that you can grow to who you need to be, so that you can step into the person that you're supposed to step into, man. It's time for us to wake up. It's time for us to be the leaders in our families, in our communities, and with our people, so that we can actually elevate as a people for our families. It's difficult. It's a hard process. It's a hard journey. It's a tough road, but it's worth every bit of the toughness that you have to deal with. There's no other way. This is what we're supposed to be doing now. This is the way that things are going in this world. So if you're trying to grow, if you're trying to elevate yourself, man, do that. Get the work done, and don't be afraid to look crazy in the season. Don't be afraid to go against everything you've been taught. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and do something new, because this is what needs to be done in order for you to get to where you need to go. Now, it's difficult, it's hard, but it's worth it, brothers. It's worth it. There's no other way. If you don't do it now, you're going to have to do it at some point. Some people don't take this risk to their 40, to their 50, and then they want to settle down. Then they want to get their mind right. Then they want to do the work. But if you start in your 20s, bro, just imagine what you would be doing in your 30s. I started at 24 and now at 31, I'm over in Africa. I've been selected as an ambassador to help people come to Africa, to show people Africa, to help build over here on Africa. I took that leap of faith at 23 years old, got married at 24, and now at 31, this is what I'm doing. I'm building a whole community, a 78-acre eco-village over in East Africa, Tanzania right now. So God has me doing some major, major things, but it's because I took those small steps in my 20s and made those sacrifices early, and now I'm over here and I'm actually doing a big work that God is using me to do. And yes, it comes with hardships. Yes, it comes with struggles. And yes, I have to deal with men that are older than me that are jealous and upset because I've made the sacrifices in my youth. Don't grow up to be one of those men who are hating on someone who made the sacrifices in their youth. We all have options. We all have choices. Every day, the Most High gives us free will for us to do what we want to do with our lives. So don't grow up and be one of those men who are hating, who is jealous of someone who took a chance and took a leap of faith in their youth. Do what you're supposed to do in your 20s, and God gonna bless you in your 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s and 100s, 110s, 120s. Maybe we might get to 500 again. Who knows, man? But take these risks, be bold, and do the work that needs to be done. Now, if you're trying to come to Africa, I help my people with that. I will sit on the phone with you and give you a 1 hour consultation to help you figure out how you can come over here to the continent of Africa. So if you're trying to figure out how to do that for yourself and come over here, click the link in the description box so that you can book a consultation and so you can link with us so that I can help you out and figure out how you can come to Africa. Even if you don't want to come to Africa, bro, if you're trying to get some advice, if you're trying to figure out how you can do it in your life, which whatever you're trying to do, book a consultation as well, bro, because I can sit you down and talk with you and help you get coached through some of the things that you're dealing with and trying to get an understanding of right now, bro. So take these risks and put yourself in a good position so that you can heal yourself and be a great husband, father, and leader for your family and for our people. And if you're trying to get your healing done from the inside out, figure out any ailment that you've been dealing with, any sickness that they say you have. My wife helped people overcome those by offering natural remedies and giving you the natural way to help you overcome what you've been dealing with. She can help you with your diet change or give you certain herbs and help you overcome those things that you've been dealing with. So if you're trying to get your healing done and figure out any ailment, man, click the link in the description box as well so that you can book a consultation with my wife and she can help you out with that, okay? Listen, thank you for staying tuned to the end, brothers. I hope this was able to edify you and bring you some understanding so that you can see why it's important that you start doing these things now in your 20s. So by the time you get to your 30s and 40s and 50s, God is using you on a whole nother level, man. Be bold, take those risks, and don't be afraid to be alone in this season. Get your work done, bro. Y'all stay safe out there. Shalom.